This past week, Grace Randolph broke some rumors regarding The Mandalorian that have spread like wildfire through the untended forests of the internet, fueled by interest in the soon-to-be-released Season 2, as well as rumors I broke regarding Disney shooting Mandalorian Seasons 3 and 4 simultaneously, in a forced quarantine situation on a decommissioned Air Force base recently purchased for that purpose. Well, just a couple of hours ago, I received some information that sheds new light on these rumors and reveals the fate of Pedro Pascal in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. I understand that some of you are impatient to just cut to the chase and get to the root of the matter, but this story is very twisty and filled with a lot of nuance as I shed more light on Grace Randolph's claims and bring everything into context. So I urge you guys to take a few extra minutes and watch this video clear to the end. You'll be glad you did. I felt there was no way that Disney would want negative publicity of any kind around the one successful Star Wars skew they've managed to cobble together from the ruins of Kathleen Kennedy's reign. And so I asked them to beat the bushes and see if they could drum up anything to confirm or deny what Grace Randolph reported. My sources have done so, and they have come up with new details on Randolph's rumors, as well as some new information I find rather alarming. Please bear in mind that these comments on Randolph's rumors are rumors themselves. So as always, please consider what you're about to hear to be unverified and take these rumors with a grain of salt. My friends, this investigation has been a labyrinth of strange silences and shifting directions. Initially, one of my best sources claimed that he or she didn't know anything about there being problems with Pedro Pascal. My source claimed that Pedro didn't walk off the show as rumored. Season 2 has been finished quite a while, and they are moving forward with production of Seasons 3 and 4. But my agent, who spoke with this source, expressed the opinion that it might well be our source can't tell us what's really going on. This gave me pause, because our sources in general are pretty free with information. If my agent felt this, then there must have been something in the manner of this source that gave them pause. Did this source not know, or was this source reluctant to disclose what they knew? My agents at this point felt like the story was still probably bogus, as Pedro had not expressed a shred of negativity across his social media accounts. Surely, Pedro Pascal would have let some hint of discontent slip out if things were really that bad on the set of The Mandalorian, even with contracts and legal obligations, right? He wasn't complaining about The Mandalorian. In fact, he's still promoting it. Still, I wanted to make sure, so I asked my agents to dig deeper and to follow up on these rumors with a few more of our best sources, and one of them came through in a big way. According to this source, one of our most reliable insiders, there is indeed a problem with Pedro Pascal. Pedro has felt very frustrated at being hidden behind a mask and wanting more face time on the show. This seems to me to be a reasonable request. I mean, The Mandalorian doesn't sleep in his helmet, right? Doesn't shower in it. Doesn't eat his cornflakes in the morning, sitting around in a wife beater and a helmet. Pedro wanted the chance to use his acting abilities to bring this character to life. And the lore that Mandalorians don't remove their helmets, well, that's more of a guideline than a rule, isn't it? Since on Clone Wars and Rebels, Mandalorians removed their helmets whenever they wanted to. But hey, canon hasn't exactly been thriving under Kennedy's reign of terror, so whatever. Propping up this brand new conceit that Mandalorians never take off their helmets is more important than making your lead actor happy, I guess, even though keeping his helmet on has the net effect of limiting the dramatic impact of stories by keeping the Mandalorian at a distance from everyone else and making sure he never has any personal stories to tell. Does a Mandalorian screw with his helmet on? You see the problem? There's a limit to the kinds of stories you can tell with this helmet always on rule. Pedro has figured this out, and reportedly, he is not happy with the Faustian bargain he has made. Sure, he's the star of the show, a star that won't ever be seen. My source claims that Pedro Pascal was jealous over Gina Carano and Baby Yoda getting all the attention when he's the actual star of the show. And this did indeed lead to some friction. Just hours ago, I received some information that really shed light on these rumors, which is why I'm finally making this video after days of silence. So during this part, I will be referring to two sources, my initial source and my news source. The distinction is important, you'll see why in a moment. So my initial source admitted that Pedro Pascal was unhappy with the mask situation, but claimed it wasn't as ugly as Randolph had depicted it. Pascal never went to Kathleen Kennedy, as the claims say. Why would he do that? According to my source, Kennedy is completely marginalized as far as The Mandalorian goes. She has no power to change anything Favreau and Filoni want to do at this point, so any suggestions that Pascal tried to get Kathleen Kennedy to intercede for him are reportedly bogus. This source claims that Pedro Pascal only mentioned the situation to George Lucas one day while Lucas was visiting the set. So this source claims that while indeed Pascal was unhappy about the situation, the whole incident was being blown out of proportion. People this source has spoken to claim the situation has been addressed, and my source couldn't understand why this was all being brought up now. But then, at the end, something happened that made me very suspicious. My source concluded that they could neither confirm nor deny that Pedro Pascal will be in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Now that is weird. My sources have never played games like that before. Never. So what the hell was this? Some kind of code? Some kind of fortune cookie with a message that says, "Help, I'm being held prisoner in a fortune cookie factory." I got all of this information a little over a day ago. I was holding off doing a video about it, however, until this morning, when I got new information from a brand new source that makes everything suddenly clear. Again, please consider what you are about to hear as rumor. According to this last-minute source, Pedro Pascal did indeed speak to George Lucas on the set of The Mandalorian one day. He knew that Favreau and Filoni both respect George's opinion, and he was hoping that George could make Favreau and Filoni see the light, look at things from Pascal's perspective, and get him some face time on the show. This apparently didn't work, and at that point, the problems began. Pascal allegedly became very difficult to work with. He would pull the helmet off in the middle of scenes without warning. He started getting his lines wrong, showing up for work late. His attitude started causing a lot of friction on the set, so bad that at one point he was told to leave the set. This apparently is the source of the rumor that he walked off the set. It seems he didn't quit so much as he was told to get the F out. I was astonished to hear this, but not entirely surprised. After all, this is Hollywood, and even back in the day, it's literally true that John Landis and John Belushi on the set of The Blues Brothers got into a physical fight in Belushi's trailer when Landis stormed in and, frustrated with Belushi's lackadaisical behavior on the set, tried to flush his coke down the toilet. So actors have always been volatile in Hollywood, and they love to play their little games too. There was a situation on the set of Batman way back when, where Adam West and Burt Ward were no longer speaking, and there was a problem that neither of them would show up on the set on time because each one wanted the other to be the first to walk onto the set and then have to wait for their co-star, who would then be one up on them, making them wait. You see, this kind of weird pettiness happens all the time in Hollywood, so I do credit this rumor as more plausible than it would at first appear. But here's the kicker, folks. My initial source said that the situation was resolved, and they could neither confirm nor deny that Pedro Pascal will return for Season 3 of The Mandalorian. Well, my news source now claims that the situation is resolved all right. Pedro Pascal will not be returning to the set of The Mandalorian. From Season 3 onward, he will only be recording lines for The Mandalorian. He will no longer be appearing on camera. It will be someone else in the suit. This satisfies Pascal, who will have to work a lot less and will no longer be shoved into that uncomfortable costume all day. And it satisfies the crew, as the guy in the suit will no longer be pulling off his helmet in the middle of takes and complaining to George Lucas.